Welcome to Grind Is True Podcast. Well, me and my co-host Sean talk about personal and professional growth.
Grind is straight, grind is straight. Make it next move, your best move.
Welcome back to the Grind Is True Podcast. It's your boy Travis and Sean. Our special guest today is Mike Johnson with Pro Snow Removal. Hey, Sean, what was the last car you cleaned, and how'd it come out, man? How'd it go?
Earlier today, finished up a GMC Denali. Obviously came out minty fresh.
Nice, as always.
Yeah, it was for a good friend. He was down the street working at the golf course, so he actually messaged me yesterday. So it's pretty cool that I was able to get him on so fast. Got it done, had it ready for him before he was done at work. Easy peasy.
That's what's up. So, Mike, what's it like with snow removal, property management, and running multiple businesses, man? What's it like being so busy that you can barely tell the time of day?
It is what it is. That's what we signed up for. The alternative is, you live a broke life,
Right.
So pray to be busy. Be busy. It's good.
I know. There's nothing worse than being slow and wondering where your next paycheck's going to be. I'd much rather be busy and stressed out and just hustling all day rather than wondering what I'm going to do next,
Yeah.
So why don't you name off some of the businesses that you own and what you do?
Yeah. So 2009, I started my main business, which is called Pro Snow Removal. We started off as a snow removal company, just mainly commercial. And then from there, we just kind of dived into the landscape maintenance and then into the landscape design build. So when I say that, I mean like outdoor living spaces, retaining walls, patios, sidewalks, outdoor kitchens, and really what it's kind of evolved into today is just, the perceived value of what we're actually providing people on their properties, in their homes. And that's literally like a backyard resort.
Mm-hmm.
Think about, the money people spend on vacations or to go on weekend trips. The one big thing that we can't put a price on these days, and that is hard to come by, is time.
100%.
When I got married in 2014, my goal was to be married, have a house, have kids by the time I was 25 years old. So I was right about 25 years old, wanted to make sure I could provide for them and give them a better life than I had. So quickly realizing when you're running a business or businesses and then you're doing other things in your community. For me, I coach 2 youth sports. I've been an Optimist International member for 11 years. I've been on the town board. I'm always doing something, just like you were saying, always grinding, always hustling, always moving, right? It takes a lot of time out of your life. And then I had kids. I had my first kid in 2015. He's 10 now. And then I had my second kid, my third kid. And then I was doing a job one day for a multimillionaire who wanted me to meet with him at either 5 in the morning or 9 o'clock at night, which is really not the best times I want to meet with someone, right?
No, but as a business owner or somebody who's busy, those are usually your free time,
Yeah. So I was just like, he was cool. He's like, if we can't do that, we can do something else. We can meet on Zoom, whatever. He goes, but this is really when I can give you my full attention. I said, whatever we got to do. I thought he was a good client, a good prospecting client. And, I'm willing to make those sacrifices for my clients to show them that I will go the extra mile for you. And I asked him, I said, why did you ask me that? I thought that was kind of strange. He goes, well, if you were willing to do that, then most likely you probably were the guy for the job because you're not afraid to take a risk for somebody you don't even know. And he asked me about my business, my set of rules, my standards, how business is, how I run things, my systems, my processes, stuff like that. And if I had kids, I said, yes. He goes, I want to tell you something. He goes, I lost my marriage. I don't have a good relationship with my kids because all I was focused on was money. And he said, I want to give you the best advice I can give anyone that I've wish somebody would have told me is that the from the time your kids are 0 to 18 years old, they spend 99% of their lives with you. But the day they turn 18, that stat drops to 7%.
Wow.
Within the next 2 weeks, I cut my company in half. I went from 10 guys down to 4 or 5 guys. Okay. And reduced my fleet, reduced my equipment, reduced my expenses, my overhead, and realized because I was burning the candle at both ends, I was drowning. I was overwhelmed. I couldn't get my office work done. I couldn't hire. I couldn't get work done completed in time. I couldn't keep the engine running smoothly. So I cut everything in half and started back over basically. I still had the same business, same structure. I didn't go bankrupt or sell anything. I just reduced my workforce, dialed it down 50%, and then started perfecting my standard operating procedures, my systems, my workflows, okay, my protocols, everything that I knew operated the way it was supposed to and efficiently. And then once I perfected that, then you can grow.
Right.
Because the biggest thing is people don't understand is growth isn't a success thing. Growth is an amplifier. It's only going to do two things. It's going to make a strong company stronger or a weak company weaker if you don't have systems, if you don't have processes. It took me a long time to dial in those systems and processes, and it was a matter of researching, learning, always learning. That's my biggest thing. Always learning, always networking, right? You can always be better. There's not ever a day in my life where I thought I was the best, right? And there's not ever a day in my life where I ran into someone that I thought they were the best. The smartest people are always learning. And looking back now, it's changed my whole business perspective and it's changed my success. I remember, making $20, $30, $40, $50,000 a week and then a month later having nothing, right? Because I'd spend more, right? Or I needed a new piece of equipment, or I needed a new truck, or the IRS came, or the tax agent came, or the insurance came, whatever it was, things that you don't figure out, you just think about in your head. You see cash flow. And that's the problem that a lot of businesses struggle with today. I have so many friends that own businesses, but none of them really own businesses. Their businesses own them.
Yeah.
Because all they're looking at is cash flow.
That's me.
They're just looking at what's coming in and what's going out.
Right.
They don't know their numbers. So in 2020, I started using a proprietary software that's literally helped my business immensely, that allowed me to track everything, every material, every ounce of labor, every overhead, insurance, fuel, all those different costs factored in. And it could literally tell me, okay, this is what I need to be charging. People call me all the time. How much to do, a 20-foot sidewalk or a 300 square foot patio? I have no idea. One, I haven't seen your job.
Right.
Two, I don't bid by the square foot anymore, right? Used to always bid by the square foot, because we knew square foot would cost us X amount of materials, right? And we knew, okay, it would take us X amount of time, right? And it was just backwards way of thinking about things. But once you start having a system and a process and you know where all your money's going, now I know how much money I have to charge in a year just to cover all my overhead, my insurance, my workers' comp, my liability, my truck payments, my equipment payments, my internet, my electricity, my water, whatever it is. So I know what I have to charge just to break even. Then I'm able to figure out, okay, this is how much I have to charge per man hour to make all that overhead work. And now I know, yes, I'm clearing that 20, or I'm net 30, or whatever that is.
Right.
Okay. That's when the cash flow really started to flow and things started to make sense. And when someone sent me a bill for 30 grand, I wrote them a check that day.
Right.
And it wasn't like, damn,
Where am I getting this 30 G's from?
that went out way faster than it comes in, because it always goes out faster than it comes in.
Oh yeah.
So when I talk to people and I try to help out friends and other business owners, it's about helping them with those systems and those processes so that they really understand where their money's going. you know, and being smart with it. I heard a guy say one time, rich is loud, wealth is quiet.
100%.
So when I see a business owner with a brand new Denali pulling a brand new excavator, you know, and he's got a brand new boat and he's got a side by side and a fifth wheel, dude, that's great. But, you know, where are you going to be at in 5 years? Where are you going to be when the shit hits the fan? Where are you going to be when the job that you thought was going to last fails?
Right.
Or when your top guy quits?
100%.
Been there a million times.
Yep.
You got to stay prepared. And I wholeheartedly agree that knowing your numbers is number one. I mean, we've all seen the show Shark Tank before, right? That's the one thing they say every single time to somebody who doesn't know their numbers is, how can you be a business owner and not know what this costs, what this costs? How do you not know where your money is going? Because if you just are flying by the seat of your pants here and just kind of fucking around and finding out, you're going to end up lost. You're going to end up without your business. You're going to end up worse off than you were when you started. You know, it's insanely important to know your numbers. I agree with that. When it came down to cutting everything in half and spending more time with the family and all of that, did that work out better for you? Were you happier because you kind of cut things down? Did stress levels go down? And
So initially, yes, and my wife really appreciated it. And I was around more with my kids. So my relationships started to change more with my kids, started to get better.
right.
Right. You know, it's kind of a two-sided thing. That was like the first part of me changing the way I think, because the way you think is everything in life, not just in business. Okay. We're always going to be, you know, going with our flesh, right? We're born to do what our body wants. And that's why people fast, right? Because when you fast, you're telling your body that you're in control over your mind. No, you don't need food.
Right.
No, you don't need water.
Yep.
Right? So that was the first part, but it wasn't the part that changed my business success. The second part was faith. I became a born-again Christian last August. I grew up in a church family, went to Sunday school, always believed in God, but I didn't pray to God. I didn't talk to God. The mentality I had was, whatever obstacle it was, I'll find a way, because, you know, like they say, there's two people in life: people that you call when you need something done, and then people that get it done.
Right.
Right. So I always had that mentality. I could do whatever. I could face whatever obstacle. If I didn't know, I could learn it. I could make it better. But eventually it piles up on you.
Oh, for sure.
You start being very stressed, very overwhelmed, right? And then when you do that, you resort to alcohol. You resort to bad spending habits. Your relationships crumble, okay? You get into fights with people you never thought you'd have a fight with. And then it just becomes all about money, right? Over stupid stuff. Could be $20, whatever it is, you know? Craziest thing happened. I started getting a different type of clientele. I started getting faith-based clientele. And they would talk to me about God. And I would like hear them out, right? But I wasn't like, like agreeing with them for their business. I would listen to them. But eventually I started to realize that, like, God was pulling me in. He was calling me this whole time to fix my life, to fix my problems, to fix my finances, to fix my relationships. And I just hadn't given it to him yet. Last year was the toughest year I've ever had in business. I was on a $500,000 to $1 million project that seemed not to end. I had a wonderful client. We didn't agree on a lot of things.
Yeah. Okay.
He's a very successful, wealthy man. And some things we just couldn't agree on. The payment schedule was a little slow for me. The big deal was it was a very large project, and the payment draw schedule wasn't frequent enough for me to be sustaining. So I was literally robbing Peter to pay Paul.
Yep.
I was borrowing money from my other business, which had no financial problems, just to float my payroll and my main business. which was something I was totally against. I like to keep my businesses separate.
Which is the right way to do things, but
You know,
sometimes you got to break that line just
Yeah.
to keep both afloat because you have faith in both
it was
businesses.
a risk for sure.
Yeah.
Looking back, I'm glad I did it. The way things are now, but so I ended up joining a men's small Bible group. It's a Zoom every other Tuesday night, which was cool because I didn't have to go anywhere. And it was a little awkward at first just because I hadn't been in anything faith-based since I was a kid,
Mhm.
you know? And like I said, it's not like I didn't believe in God. And then like overnight, the praying, everything. I mean, I had so much going on. Number one, I couldn't take on any more work because I was stuck on a large project that wasn't paying the bills.
Right.
Number two, I had been investigated by the Department of Labor. And the Department of Labor wanted 6 figures from me in penalties and fines for some rules that I didn't comply with.
Right.
Okay? All this going on, still paying my regular amount of bills, which is 30, 40, 50 grand a month. And I'm like, how am I going to do this?
Yeah.
Dude, it was bad.
It's got to be depressing.
It was-
It's got to weigh on your head when shit like that happens.
It was worse than that because, it hurts your pride.
100%.
You work so hard to have a nice life.
Kind of feels
Right.
like it's never enough because there's always somebody out there with their hand out. You know
And
what I mean?
you're just like, how could this happen? And literally, I had no choice but to just break down and pray.
Mm-hmm.
And the moment I started doing that, dude, it literally is a supernatural power. And I'm not just saying this for any other reason besides it's the actual truth. God started changing my life. He started improving my finances, improving my relationships. And then I started surrounding myself with other people that were thinking just like this. And it started creating so much opportunity for me.
Mm-hmm.
And it changed everything from my relationship with my employees, my relationship with my wife and kids, my relationship with my clients. And the opportunities started flowing. And I would say, God, how are you going to help me with this? Like I would come boldly, like, God, I can't make payroll this week. It's Tuesday. I got to make payroll tomorrow. I can't make payroll this week. Show me a sign. Show me a sign. Boom, bald eagle flies over my head. Something as simple as that, right?
Right.
Did that just happen? Did that just happen? I couldn't believe it. So that's the things that he would do. And then now, almost a year from being born again, I'm completely overwhelmed in blessings. I have so much work. I have $2 million of work on the backlog right now. I'm literally, yesterday we interviewed 7 candidates. Only 1 showed up to the interview. Okay. We interviewed another 7 today. 4 showed up to the interview today. My interviewing process is done out of state. My accounting is done out of state. I have a lady that answers the phones. She's out of the country. She's great. Okay. I have an operations manager now who oversees most of our operation. Okay. I have a landscape foreman. I have a mowing foreman, and then I have technicians underneath them. And then we're trying to, basically multiply everything that we've already perfected. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's still,
You're basically building a corporation here. You're
So-
you're building a full system. You're going from a chuck and a truck to a legit business.
So I've been more than a truck for a while. So that's kind of the problem. Like after you bite off and you grow so fast, I tell people all the time, don't grow fast, right? You end up getting to a point where like if shit hits the fan, work turns down, like you're screwed. That's like, it's a real thing. When people say you need to have 6 months worth of your bills in the bank at all times, that's a real thing.
Oh yeah, for
Okay.
sure.
For me, that's like $300,000.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, when you get down to that mark, $300,000 is a lot of money. But when you get down to that mark, you're like, oh shit, what am I going to do?
For sure.
Versus some people, they got $300,000 in the bank. They're like, oh my gosh, let's go buy a house, which 300 doesn't even buy a nice house anymore.
No.
Okay. But, so basically and I just love talking about this. Go from that. We've got the operations manager. We've got all these different roles, all these different systems, the way things need to be done, literally a standard operating procedure. In August, I was born again. November, December, I'm still thinking, you know what? Exit plan. Exit plan right away. Sell my business. Cash out now while I can. Okay? Get out from under the table. Cash out now. I got a potential buyer. Okay? And wants to meet up. And we're talking, you know, probably a $3 to $5 million deal. Thinking it's going to be the answer to all my problems. I'll take that money, pay down my debt, still have a few $1,000,000 to reinvest into my other business, which is a storage business called Armadillo Storage. Nice. We're in Oswego. I've been in that business for 5 years. That's kind of where I was leaning, right? And then that meeting fell through for some other reason. The guy's wife broke both of her fibias, so he had to stay home and take care of her, so we couldn't get together. Whatever, it wasn't meant to be, not a big deal. Then all of a sudden, January rolled, February rolled. I started pouring money into marketing, which is one thing I've never done. I've been scared about it because marketing is expensive.
Oh, it's extremely expensive.
I started pouring money into marketing, and then all of a sudden, dude, I'm having $300,000-$400,000 weeks, months. You know, literally marketing cost me less than 1%. So I'm like, oh crap, let's do some more of this marketing. So now, like, I'm completely understaffed, completely overwhelmed. Great problem to have, okay? But I'm not worried about it because what faith did for me is faith gave me the peace. So now when I have a problem, it's like, it doesn't bother me. It doesn't hurt. You don't get that feeling in your chest or your gut when you're overwhelmed, right? You just have complete serenity. So a problem's not a big deal. It's just another day.
Correct.
It's not gonna affect my tomorrow. Matthew 6:34. Don't worry about the problems of today because it'll steal your peace of tomorrow.
Yep.
All right. So that's what it gave me. My life's incredible now. I've got so much good people I'm surrounded by. Business is good. Literally, no joke, yesterday, a friend of mine called me. I haven't talked to him in a couple of years. He's a huge contractor out of Utica, Rome. He's got $20 million on the books right now. Does the same thing I do. I've known him for 15 years. Okay? Says, Mike, I'm getting a new pool. I need a pool patio, outdoor living space. I need you to come design it. I need you to come build it for me. I said, dude, this is what you do. He says, I don't have time for it. I got $20 million on the books right now. Understaffed, just like everybody else. Want you to come do it because I trust your quality. I know you're the best. You have the best quality. I know you have the best systems. I know it'll get done right. And I won't have to babysit it. He goes, come sit down with me. Give me a design. I charge for my designs, which no other contractor like me does. I've been telling guys for years, you need to start charging for your designs.
Well, because that takes time. Time is money, right?
I understand that. Yeah.
You should be charging.
Absolutely.
Now, an estimate, I walk in, I'm trying to win that job, like a kitchen rental. I don't charge for estimates, right? Because that's kind of petty to me. But a design is completely different. You want me to redesign your kitchen? I'm charging for that.
Exactly.
You want me to come in and just put new stuff where the current stuff already is? No problem. I'll take some measurements. That's free. I'm in and out in 15 minutes. But if I've got to sit down and redesign something for you, that 1,000% should be charged for because it just, now you're taking hours from my time and time is money. So I 100% agree with that.
Yeah. And we charge for our estimates. We have a $75 consultation fee. Now, it is discretionary, right? Obviously, if marketing's not working the way it's supposed to and the phone's not ringing and, you know, you're a referral, you're a block down from one of our best customers, yeah, I'm going to come spend some time with you. Right? But if you call me and you say, hey, how much you charge?
Yeah.
I say, yeah, $75. $75 for a patio? Sold. No. $75 just for a consult.
Because you're still taking my time. So I do understand that for sure.
When people say, how much you charge per square foot? Or how much does it cost for a patio? Any of those tire-kicking questions, I don't want to serve you.
Right.
Okay? Because you're going to waste my time.
I
You're
want
just
somebody
looking
who's
for the best
serious.
price.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you the best value.
Yeah.
We're the only company like me in the whole industry that has a warranty on their work.
Well, really,
we offer a 5-year warranty.
That's awesome.
On our outdoor living. Any of our hardscaping is a 5-year warranty.
That's great.
Okay. I'm going to drop some straight knowledge on any other hardscaper that's listening to this podcast. You could change your business overnight by starting with the way you install these systems, the way you promote yourself to these clients. Okay. I'm completely different than most of my competitors. And that's why I have such a niche, in with these people, because I'm actually giving them value. I'm giving them something that you can't put a price on. Right.
And charging for an estimate and things like that shows you as the business that the client is serious. They're not, like you said, a tire kicker. They're not just looking around and, I just want to price things out. Well, then I'm not the guy for you. Call me when you're ready. You know what I mean? Like when you're serious about it and you really want to do something, give me a call and we'll give you the best product. But until then, I don't just come out and talk with you for 2 hours because you're bored and lonely and you're not going to, hire my company. That means something. But I will say that every company is a little bit different. He can quote a car right over the phone. Give me your VIN number. Give me everything else. I'll look up the info and I can tell you what the car is going to be to detail it, to clean it, things like that.
Yep.
Whereas guys like us, we've got to go out to the house. We got to drive. And I'm sure you've had that call that, hey, I'm in Rome. Can you come out and give me a free estimate
today? Can you come out today?
No, I'm not coming out there right now because no, that's not happening. Yeah. You know what I mean? Do I service that area? Sure. But no.
Yeah.
Like
I used to want to go out and see everybody because I thought once they saw me,
you could make that sale.
I say once I get my foot in the door,
I got it.
It's over.
Oh, I've said it a million times.
Okay. But then I started realizing that I was spinning my tires a little more than I would like.
Right.
And I started finding out ways, which AI is great for. Now it's been a huge, mark in my business in the last 12 months, AI.
You could put your whole business plan, whole everything you do in business right in chat, and it'll tell you everything you're doing wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, you could really correct your business just by chat.
I won't live and die by AI, but
it's helpful.
I do utilize it, right? We use it in some of our quick designs, maybe those smaller jobs where, you're not going to do a $1,500 or $3,000 design fee, right? Just something quick, right? What could it look like? Mr. and Mrs. Smith, they're 70 years old. They still have a landline in their house. What could this look like? And you showed them the paver, you've showed them the plant, you've showed them the wall, but they're still like, I don't know what it would look like, and they just they're old school. They kind of want to see, what is it they're buying? I mean, think about it. Everything that you buy these days, realistically, you see it before you press buy. Right? Amazon, eBay, you go in the grocery store, it's on the shelf, whatever it is, you can see it, right? You buy a new car, boom, there's the car, that's what it looks like, that's the color I want, I like it, buy, right? So I need to be able to give that same experience to my client. So now I'm at the point with technology that literally I can, for the most part, most jobs, I could do it remotely. I can quote it remotely. I can design it remotely. I can propose it remotely. I can answer all your questions remotely. I don't have to go there. Am I going to go there? Yeah, I'm going to go there when you say you're ready to move forward. And then I'm going to double check everything. But with all the tools that are available to us out there, interior is probably a different ball game, right? You can't really see it from Google Earth
and all that stuff.
Right. I ask every house I go to, give me your blueprint from your home. Give me your survey. Right?
True, but that's not going to tell you a grade. So, say somebody wants a quote on a backyard paradise, but all of a sudden it goes flat, 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 and then down like this. Now you got to bring in more dirt to level things out. So, how do you see that from that's a job you have to try to see, right?
Great question. Right. So, I've been in construction most of my life, like you, right? So, I know when I look at siding, when I look at foundation walls, when I look at drip edge, when I look at shingles, whatever it is, I know the measurements of those.
Right.
So I can count them and I can get measurements. So you're talking about a grade, you got a house with a foundation, the grade goes down like this, and you can kind of see a little line in the foundation every 8 inches, right? Boom, 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 boom. Okay, 10 blocks, that's 80 inches, whatever, that's 6.5 feet or whatever the math is, right? So I know my grade elevation from where I want to be down to where it is 6 feet. So I know I got to build a 6.5 foot wall if I'm trying to bring it up or whatever it is, or I got to bring in this much fill. There are some softwares I use that will kind of tell me topography, elevation. I just realized this the other day. but my iWatch does it. Right now, we're at 396-foot elevation. Okay, now
I'm looking at mine like it
now I'm
has
at
it too.
395. Now I'm at 395. I just dropped my arm a foot.
That's crazy.
Okay, so there's a tool right there. But you always had to be recreating that wheel, getting better, getting stronger, getting faster, getting smarter.
Yeah.
And never ever once think that you've made it. Okay, because the people that made it, they never feel like they actually made it.
Dude, I can relate to that a million times only because in my head, as you were touching on earlier, knowledge is power. The second you tell yourself that you know everything is the second you're lying
It's
to
arrogance.
yourself. Yeah, you're just being cocky now.
It's
You know what I
arrogance.
mean? Like you'll never truly know everything. There's always new technology. There's always more to learn. There's always something you can better than what you're doing now. So I've never been the type to say, "Oh, I know everything. I'm the best at this." It's no, I'm very good. I am not the cheapest, and I will give you the best product that we can possibly do. But I've never ever say, "Oh, I know it all," because the day I say that, you could just tell me I'm a liar because it's not facts. There's always more to learn. There's always a way to get better, and there's always a way to another venture with your business or a new business or whatever the case may be. You know, you can never say that you're done, you're good, you've achieved everything you wanted to achieve because there's always more to grab. And it's not about the money. It's about at least for me, it's about the success, the achievements that you get when you start businesses, when you become successful. It's little milestones in your life that made you better and better and better and better. And you can always become better. You can always learn something new. You know what I mean? So the people that are like, "Oh yeah, I know everything. I can do that. I can do that." You're just bullshitting me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or you're just lying to yourself and you're trying to lie to me too, you know? I've come across so many business owners, addicts, just so many people throughout my life that found God and immediately said that their life just took a turn for the better. Why? What about religion exactly? Now, this isn't a religious podcast. This is about church, but you brought it up, so we're going to keep talking about it. What about religion do you think is what opens people's lives up for the better? Because I've never heard anybody say, "I found religion and my life went worse." Never. I've never heard anybody say that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So what about it? Is it the sense of community? Is it a sense of purpose, faith? You know, what, at least in your words, would you say made your life so much better?
I mean, there's a million answers for that question,
I know.
but
You could choose your favorite. It's okay.
the reality is God knows the beginning from the end, and there's nothing we can do about it. Okay, He knew what our purpose was and what we were going to do in life before we even got to that point. You know, so when they say give it to God, He's the only one, in my opinion. He's the only one that can save you, can fix you, can help you. With me personally, and the things I prayed about, He's answered every prayer. And I don't just pray for me. Matter of fact, most of my prayers, number one, when I do my prayer, I express gratitude. God loves gratitude. He loves when you thank Him for the blessings that He's poured upon you and others. Okay? Loves that. Number two, I pray for the other people because I know there's so many more people that need help more than me. I'm doing pretty good.
Right.
Okay? What do I need help for, right? I mean, I still need help, but I'm doing pretty good. So I pray, which is humility, I pray for the other people that have it worse than me, that can't make ends meet, that are struggling with addiction, they're struggling with porn, they're struggling with relationships, alcohol, whatever it is, right? I've been there. That sucks. Okay, I wouldn't want that for anyone. But to answer your question, I mean,
I know it was a loaded question. So, let's just put that out there. I know that what I just asked is a very hard question to answer, and everybody's reason and everybody's answer is going to be different. I just wanted to know what you thought.
He just completely changes the way you think, okay? And that's really what it comes down to in any obstacle in life is how you think. Because if you read the Bible, okay, which is there was a Wu-Tang song. The Bible is basic instructions before leaving Earth. Okay. Not a big Wu-Tang guy, but someone brought that up the other day, so I wanted to throw that out there. I thought that was pretty cool. I've never heard that acronym, but you can't do it alone, right? You can't do it alone, and our body, which is called flesh, always wants to sin. Okay, we are born sinners. Okay, when you're born a child, if you're in a Christian family, you get baptized. That's your parents basically saying our kids are going to follow Jesus. But that's not the kid saying they're going to follow Jesus, because they're just a kid.
Right.
So then when you're an adult, you get baptized again. You give your life to Jesus. And just like you said, you've never seen someone say that they gave it to God and didn't change their life. There's no statistic that proves otherwise. So when you give it to God, you don't even have to be a business owner. You could just be struggling to make ends meet. Whatever you could be a terrible cook and you just can't make a good meal.
Right.
Okay, whatever it is. Now you're leaning on that person, that spiritual power that's literally going to, I can't explain it. It's going to 100% unequivocally change the result for the better. It cannot go backwards.
Right.
Okay? Because the Bible says when you become born again, you cannot go back. All right? Once you're born again, you're saved by God. You will not go back. You will not go back to addiction. You will not go back to slavery. You will not go back to any of those things. You will forever be saved, and you cannot go backwards, you know? So I hope that answers your question. I know we could talk about this for
sure. I mean,
for a
like I
long
said,
time.
we try to focus on business and professional growth.
Yeah.
So, touching on faith and touching on what saved you and made your life better, religion, non-religion, choices, anything you've done, that's personal growth. So, that's what this podcast is about. It's not just solely about business. It's how people have made a change for the better, have hustled, and have done things differently than they used to for the better.
Yeah.
Now, Sean, you've been a little bit quiet on through this one because I've kind of taken it over. For that, I do apologize.
Oh, you're good.
But where do you stand on faith?
It's funny you asked that. Yesterday, I was driving to a client's house to do this popped in my head when you started talking. I was going to a client's house to do a couple details, and I've had a really amazing year. So it's getting a little slow. I feel, I can feel it. So it's slowing down a little bit. So I messaged my dad yesterday. He's really big when it comes to religion. He's really, since I was a young kid, he's had me pretty tight with God, and I communicate with God daily. So I messaged my dad, and I told him, I said, pray that I Spy gets some work in soon. We were talking about other things. I promise you, I'm not going to lie. While I'm getting goosebumps. While I was at that client's house, 20 minutes later setting up, my phone just started dinging on Facebook Messenger. I had about 3 or 4 people message within 34 minutes, like 30 or 40 minutes. Deposits started coming through, and they're locked in. Like I said, 1 today was the call from yesterday, 2 on tomorrow. I have stuff on Sunday. I've always believed in the power of God, and I feel like my business is where it is now from the strength of God, because I don't care what people think out here. Everyone thinks I've been up this whole time. Everyone thinks I'm a big baller out here, all this and that. Like I tell my wife, like we always talk about, we just make it look good. Let's be honest. When running a business, it's not as simple as that, No. They don't see the years of owning a business, but still living paycheck to paycheck during the hard times and stuff like that. They don't see it all. Or they don't see how there is less stress, when I worked a company job before or whatever, or when you live within your means, when you start balling out, when you start making money, like you said, and then you start spending more money, and then the business doesn't always have to stay popping forever. You have to keep it that way. So I feel like God's got me this far.
It's funny you mentioned that. Me and my wife were actually just talking the other day that we remember what it was like to be poor.
Yeah.
And we don't miss it, but there was a sense of simplicity to your life when you're poor. You're not focused on paying your 3-car notes, the boat note, the 5th wheel note, the house note. You're worried about making rent and eating. It was a simpler time. You know what I mean? And you don't envy that, but you kind of do miss it at some points because it was just so simple. You had very few things that you had to worry about, and life was just a little bit easier and a lot less stressful when you're just worried about eating, paying for gas, getting to work, and that's it. You're not hiring employees and paying their wages and having other people's lives on your back. You're not trying to pay taxes because you're getting a fucking refund every year rather than having to pay the IRS every year. You know, it's a different stress. And, you know, people that don't have a lot of money will probably hear me say this and be like, fuck you. But you know what? When everything in life has its own stress level. And I feel as though, like you said, the more money you make, the more you buy, the more bills you have, things just pile up.
Yeah.
You know, so when you're broke, it seems like it's a little bit less. And at the time it doesn't feel that way, but when you evolve as a person, you look back at that time and you're like, you know, we had a lot of fun being broke, just going to Green Lakes and just barely being able to pay our parking fee and having a great fucking day.
Yep.
You know what I mean? We were just happy to be there.
Yeah.
Now it's, let's go to Florida, let's go to France, let's go here, let's go there, because, you know, the money's there, but it's also like, okay, well, now it's way more planning, it's more money being out, and can we allocate that money to the right places and things like that. So,
Yeah.
you know, you look at different lifestyles completely differently the more you evolve as a person, I believe. You know, you don't envy it, you don't wish you're back at that point, but it's easy to look back and be like, it was a simpler time, you know. And I grew up going to private school. I'm confirmed, I baptized, I'm all that stuff. And I would say religion played a huge role in my younger years, a little less now, only because it's not that I don't have the time for it. I look at things a little bit differently. I don't dislike I still pray to God. I still talk to him daily, but to me, God is everywhere. I don't need to be in church to talk to God. I can talk to God right here in the studio. I can talk to God while I'm in a house busting down a kitchen, you know. So my form of faith and religion has gotten a little bit different than what most see. And I don't find a problem with that, because again, if God is everywhere, why do I need to go to the temple to pray to him, or the church? You know what I mean? Like, that to me is, I can talk to him wherever I'm at because he is everywhere. So it's a little bit different for me than others, but it's very interesting that I have come across so many people that found God, and their life, they state their lives completely changed. They stopped drinking, they stopped doing drugs, they kind of went whole hog right into religion, and that's awesome.
Yeah.
You know, you replaced one bad habit with an amazing habit, and you've not only that, but you're surrounding yourself with a community now. You're getting around people with the same mind frame, which is important, and it's really good. So when it comes to the storage unit,
Yeah.
is it true that it's like printing money? Because from my understanding, a storage unit is the best way to basically just print money with the least overhead. Yes, it's a high initial cost because you got to build the units and all that. But once it's built and you have the land, it kind of runs itself. Is that true, or is there more to it than people think?
No, I mean, just like anything else, the more focus you give something, the harder you work at something, hopefully you reap an even better harvest, right?
Yeah.
So the nice thing about it is it's fully automated.
Right.
Okay, so you don't really need a lot of employees or any employees. It can be fully automated. I don't ever have to meet clients, barely ever have to talk to them. It's just like going on Amazon. Go to my website, boom, you see a unit you want that's available, you rent it, boom, you pay, you sign the storage agreement, you move in, you get a code, boom, boom, boom. Like, it's super, super simple, super convenient for the client. It is a tough business to get into because of the acquisition, right? Are you buying a facility, or are you starting from scratch? You need commercial land. Commercial land right now, I don't know if you've noticed, but it's a crazy amount of money just to buy commercial land,
For sure.
especially on Route 31.
Oh my God.
Okay.
Because of Micron, dude. All
Literally, I
prices
just
have
drove by
quadrupled.
a shed that was $800,000
Yep.
for a
Yep.
shed.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Everybody's trying to capitalize on Micron buying up
You know,
property. That's what it is.
So commercial property is nuts right now. So, I mean, the way I kind of got in was backdoor, right? I got lucky. I found a facility that wasn't on the market. It was off market. Happened to be the guy that owned it was the vice president of one of the banks I work with. And I'm just joking with my lender. You know, we have a really great relationship, you know, me and my lender. And I'm like, man, you know, I wish I was in the storage business. He's like, yeah, that's a great business. He's like, my boss, the VP, he's in the storage business. I was like, yeah, does he want to sell? Actually, he's got a facility in Oswego. The VP lives in Rochester. He's got a facility in Oswego he bought like 6-7 years ago, and he's not doing anything with. I'll ask him. Maybe he'll sell it. I'm like, no shit. Gets back to me like a couple days later. Yeah, he said he'd sell it. Here's the price. And I'm like, okay, I got to negotiate this price. I can't just buy it when I see it, right?
Right.
I don't even know if I could, you know, obviously take out a mortgage on this amount of money. But we'll see what it is. I ended up negotiating. I got a little bit better price than his asking price. You know, I bought the facility for $275. I've had offers right now between $9 and $1.1 million to buy it from what I built it. Took me 9 months to get fully rented out.
Yeah.
Okay. Very low overhead cost. You know, my software. You know, I basically have software, insurance, and you know, county and school tax. You know, I don't have any power. They're not climate controlled like some of my competitors. You know, that's where some really good money is. So climate controlled. I'm not in that side of the business yet. Hopefully in my next expansion, I'll have some climate controlled units, which you can charge more money for, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, they pay for insurance on my units. So that's good. But yeah, the bank account goes up every month. The first of the month, it goes up.
Oh, yeah.
It never goes down. So kind of like real estate, right? So yeah, in a way, you're printing money, but it's just like one of those things. It starts with a system, okay? It's a much more simpler system than my landscape design build company, right?
Right.
A lot more moving pieces, a lot more overhead, a lot more shit that could go wrong in that business. Versus with the storage, it's a lot simplified,
Right.
okay? More simplified. So, yeah, I'm excited to do my expansion. I'm going to put up at least 2 more buildings. I got room for another 10. So, I mean, in the storage world, a property with acreage is worth a lot of money because you're going to keep growing.
For sure.
So I've been in the business for 4 years now. I've had a waiting list for 2. I'm not sure why I haven't pulled the trigger on expansion yet. Most likely is because I've just been so busy with my main business. And, you know, when I get a little free time, I kind of dabble back into the storage side of things. That pretty much just runs in the background.
That's what I mean. It's
Which
a self-running business, that's the basic necessity of printing money. It's
That's
passive
what-
income.
That's what makes
For
it
the most part.
worth a lot of money. And that's kind of what I've built my landscape design build company towards. And we're about 90% there. You know, basically I can step away from that company for however long I want and it still operates and it still runs. That's what really makes
You're
them
still getting those checks on the first.
That's what makes a company profitable. You know, people say, "Oh, I got 10 bulldozers, I got 10 trucks." Yeah, but you got no guaranteed revenue.
Right.
Okay, with my company, I've got guaranteed revenue.
Coming on the
I have
first.
3, 5, 7, 10-year contracts. Okay, with some of the biggest companies in the county.
How'd you get those type of contracts? You know what I mean? Like, did you have to bid for those with the county, or you just happen to know
So
somebody?
not actually
or?
with the county. Okay,
Okay.
I met companies in the county. I work for private companies. I don't work for the state. I don't work for the town. I don't work for the county. The hell with that. Okay, so all my employees, it's not prevailing wage. We don't do prevailing wage jobs. Do we do prevailing wage jobs? Yeah, maybe 1 a year.
Right.
Okay, it's like a little cherry on top. Here, you guys, you're gonna get paid $75 an hour to do a $30 an hour job. Knock yourself out, boys. I'm glad we could get this job. I don't pursue prevailing wage jobs. There's a lot of headaches working with the state. A lot of different requirements. A
You
lot
got
of extra
EPA down your
paperwork.
neck. You got
Yeah.
OSHA down your neck. You
For
got
what?
a lot
For
of
what? To plant some grass?
regulations, dude.
You know, like, so, you know, like for many years we had built-in marketing, which was social media. which was door knockers, yard signs, our vehicle graphics. Okay, we spent our marketing money on all those things, built our brand up to what it was, so people recognize the name, they recognize the truck. Okay,
Which form of marketing do you think was most successful? Wrapping the trucks, door knocking, or mailers, or what do you think?
Well, so definitely, I think statistics show, and for me personally too, it's going to be yard signs and it's going to be vehicle graphics,
Yep.
right? You know, and the more vehicles you have out there, the more just it's a moving billboard,
For sure.
right? So make it good. Spend the extra money. Don't go to the guy who's doing it on the side in his garage because he can do some vinyl decals. No, go all out. Make it unique.
Give it a full wrap.
Make it stand out. Yeah, I don't do full wraps, but I mean, I do majority of the vehicle. It's all die cut, so it's not like one giant sticker. You know, I'm a little bougie when it comes to my look, my feel, my brand, my smell. You know, I like things a certain way, but it's marketing 101. You have to have things. You can't just make a logo and go with it. If you look at any big corporation or any big successful company, you know, Heinz ketchup, Kraft mac and cheese, Nike. Nike's a swoosh.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Nike would not have the success it has today if they didn't have that swoosh. And if you ever go back and hear the story about how Nike got that swoosh or how Apple got the apple, like they had millions of other ideas for their logo or for their brand, and they never would have made it. So you gotta have that brand. Think about Billy Facillo. Huge. Right? I think the guy was a terrible business owner. I think he had a terrible business model, but he had great marketing, right? And
100%.
Chinatown. Like all these things are thought about quite a bit before they actually just go out and hit it and run, you know? I look at it like the refrigerator magnet theory, okay? With my trucks, with my yard signs, with my website, with my social media, right? Listen, you might not need a patio right now, but someday you will.
Right.
You're not eating pizza every night, but one night you will. And who are you going to call? That magnet on your fridge that you walk by every day.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
We
you
put
don't.
them on everybody's furnace when we do a maintenance
There
on
you
their
go.
furnace. You know,
Exactly.
That way, when they're like, "Oh, my furnace is broke," they walk down, they see their furnace, and they're like, "Oh, it's not running."
Yeah.
My number's right
Yeah.
there. Give me a call.
My
I
yard
got you.
signs have our Instagram logo right on the yard sign. So, and literally says on my yard sign, if you drive by one of my yard signs, and my customers are great. They'll literally leave them up in their yards the whole summer and weed whack around them. I'm like, who does that?
Yeah.
I'd like
usually
pull that
pull
thing
them
out
like 3 days later. You know?
Like when I cut my grass and I have to pick up my kids' balls or toys, it's like, come on, you couldn't have picked this up, but they'll
Right.
leave the yard sign out. So like literally it says on my yard sign, check this project out on Instagram. Boom, right? Because they might not be able to see it. It's in the back of the house, right?
That's a good idea.
You know?
That's a
Boom.
very good idea.
I haven't seen another yard sign that has that.
No, that's a very good idea.
Okay, so you want to stand out. You
Check
gotta-
out what
you
we're
gotta be-
doing here, and like 'cause
That's
you-
exactly
'cause
what
you
it
get
says.
those
Check
nosy
this
ass
job out
neighbors.
on Instagram.
You get those nosy ass
100%.
neighbors that always are clicking on it. You know what I mean?
100%.
Oh yeah.
They're walking their
100%.
dog and they're like, I kind of want to see what they did. That's a great
So,
idea.
funny story that you just brought that up. So we talked about this large project I was on, and we were there for months, and neighbors didn't like it. I partially believe they didn't like it because maybe they were jealous. Okay, probably at least one of them is going to watch this podcast, so I'm sorry. But meta glasses? Do you have meta glasses?
Oh yeah, I got
Those
three.
things
Got 3 pair, man. I love them.
Are they like jailbroke? That's a thing now where they
Yeah.
turn the light off?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you can drill it out.
I need to get mine jailbroke. So I
can jailbreak them.
I
for you.
had a lovely client. Nothing against her. She was an next
Sorry,
door
madam.
neighbor, and she needed to talk to the boss. So I came, and I had my meta glasses on. No joke. I had them on for the work I was doing on the job. It just so happened to be I did not turn them off when she called me up to the fence to talk to her, and she literally started getting irate with me about the noise, the dust, the mess. And I explained to her really nicely, you know, and our sites are very, very tidy. If you go look at my Google reviews, you'll see multiple 5-star reviews where people talk about the tidiness and the cleanliness of our job sites. Like that's my pet peeve. Like I hate going to a job site and it looks like a kid's bedroom. Like, dude, it's the end of the day. Yeah, you got to factor 30 minutes in to clean up your job site. Show a little professionalism.
It's funny because my wife has walked into several of our job sites and she's like, what the fuck is going on in there? It looks like a tornado just went off. So
Yeah.
now the new rule is we end at 5, but you end work at 4:30. And
Right.
everybody starts cleaning up.
Exactly.
Period. Because you can't be productive when you're walking over a bunch of garbage
Nope.
and everything else. So,
then they
having a
come
dirty
in.
work site is not only annoying, but it's also unproductive. You can't find the tool you're looking for because somebody else just tossed it in a corner, and all
So-
of that needs to be organized. So I didn't mean to offshoot,
no,
but
no,
I agree
no,
with that 100%.
Yeah, and those are the things people don't realize too when you price them out on a job, that like we're literally gonna have to clean up. It takes a half hour to set up, half hour to tear
And
down.
when you're paying 5 guys to
Okay.
clean up, that's
yeah,
money.
Yeah, and then that's not even factoring. Okay, we had to travel to the job. Now we got to travel back from the job. Like there's a lot of things that the people don't see, right? They just think of the price and they go, "Oh my gosh," or "Yeah," or whatever. So she was going off about that, and I guess it was the wrong day for me. Maybe I hadn't prayed yet that day, but during this job, our job site trailer parked right up against the garage in the driveway. $1 million home neighborhood. I mean, $1 million home neighborhood. Beautiful neighborhood in Baldwinsville. Our job trailer got robbed. Over $10,000 of tools stolen.
Oh, damn.
Okay. And nobody wanted to like check out their cameras to see who was coming down the street. Not a lot of cooperation from neighbors, and I'm just like, what's the point of having cameras? Like,
Right.
if your shit was stolen, you'd already have the video and you'd already send it to police, and the police are having a hard time trying to get this camera footage from these neighbors, from 6, 7, 8, 9 houses on the street. So I was like, yeah, we had over $10,000 of tools stolen. I'm sorry this is taking longer, but this is not just a little one and done. This is a $500,000 project that's literally going to be one of a kind.
Right.
Oh yeah, it looks beautiful. It's looking great, but come on, guys. I go, we're only here Monday through Thursday. We work 4 10s. So you get
masonry works take so much time.
Yeah,
People don't get how hard masonry work actually is.
Like
It's
this-
so time consuming.
This lady was a Karen, what they would call, right?
yeah.
Right? And I'm like,
everybody's
whatever.
come across them.
so we finished the job in November. March rolls around. I get a call. It's from her husband. They want an estimate. They want to read, and their patio, their sidewalk, their patio, their landscaping, everything is 30 years old. It's trash. These houses on the river, it needs to be redone.
Mm-hmm.
Right? They have no functionality in this space at all. Yeah, why don't you come out and give us an estimate? I said, yeah, certainly, no problem. I don't forget anything. I don't forget anybody. And I don't ever hold a grudge. And I don't ever burn a bridge.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So I go over there. I meet with them both. And I'm like, yeah, you remember me, right? Yeah, hey, I remember you. I'm like, yeah, what do you guys think? I took them over to the next door. They're literally right next door. Showed them that project we completed. And just, their jaws dropped. My jaws dropped. I told the client that I did the job for. I said, if you ever sell your house, I want to buy it, but you're going to have to hold the note because I already know I'm not going to be able to afford it.
Right.
All right? It's that beautiful. I'm so proud of this job. Here's where it gets bad. I spent a couple hours there using all my, getting my measurements, my ideas, stuff like that. I'm going to charge them for a design. I didn't charge them for a design. I didn't even do a design. I ended up getting so busy and so overwhelmed, I pushed them to the back burner. And I didn't even give them a quote.
I think we've all done that at one point or time.
And the thing is, I don't know why, right? It's not like I did that on purpose.
We don't ever do it on purpose, but sometimes things just get overseen, man. I think that's just part of business. It's a mistake I think every business owner has made at least once.
They still haven't gotten it done. I was out there last week because I did some more additions, add-ons, little things for their neighbor who we did the big project for, who's a wonderful client. We get along great. We text often, and they were outside. They didn't say hi to me. I didn't say hi to them. They had some kid there. They hired under the table, whatever. He's weeding their landscaping, which good looks good, But I just thought about this the other day. I'm like, it's probably like $150,000 job, and I was too busy for it. So I didn't get to bring this up really, but I wanted to bring it up to when we started talking about charging about estimates. I remember so many times telling people, me knowing I'm about maybe a month, 6 weeks, 8 weeks max booked out, okay? Which is not enough in my opinion. You need to be booked out at least 6 months.
For sure.
To have a really self-driven business. I remember telling people on the phone when they asked how you could get it done, I would lie to them, say, oh yeah, we can get there in a week or two, right? And then just hope I could find a way to divide and conquer and get there, right? Because I didn't want to lose a job because I couldn't get there, right?
Right.
And that was a bad problem to have. But now, I'm going to tell you this. Start telling people you're 6 months booked out. Right in the first phone call. Hey, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, I just want to let you know your project's definitely in our wheelhouse. This is our bread and butter. This is our flagship. We could do an amazing job for you, but I just want to put this out there right now. We are 6 months out right now, minimum. If we can get to you sooner, we will, but at least 6 months.
You're basically
and then
going
just be
by
quiet.
Undersell, over deliver.
Then just be quiet and see what they say. Most, well, I'd say all of my clients, the ones that I ultimately do work for, will say, completely understand, to be expected. That's why we're calling you.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
The ones that say, can't do it in like 2 months? Can't do it in like 2 weeks? What if we paid a little bit more? Sorry, can't do it. The best clients will wait for you.
Yep. 100%.
And guess what? If they have an issue, you can fix it. You ever have a client that has an issue, then no matter what you do, you can't fix that for them?
100%.
They just don't want to pay you.
Nope. Those are the people that want to negotiate on the price, and they're just going to be nothing but a problem. So you don't want them as a client anyways, so it doesn't matter. You know, but you learn that through experience for sure.
My scope of work is literally 3 pages long. I literally, almost like if you were to do a speak to text, if you had to do a speak to text to tell one of your guys exactly how to do a job from start to finish, okay, that's my scope of work. I don't miss a thing in my scope of work. And because of that, I don't ever not get paid. There's never a miscommunication or a misunderstanding of what I was supposed to do or what I was supposed to provide. It's in the contract.
Same here. Everything's in our contract of exactly what we discussed. You signed it. And even in my contract state, if you change anything, it results in a brand new contract being drawn up.
Change order.
And we sign it together.
Yep.
So that everybody's on the same page. And this protects the client and myself.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? This is good for both parties. This is not me
Exactly.
being petty. This is just, I need to cover myself.
Yeah.
And you also need to know that I'm going to show up on the date I said, that I'm going to take care of everything that I promised you I'm going to take care of. And now it's all on paper and we're good. So we do contracts as well.
Yeah.
You know,
And also too, my foreman, my crews, right? They see that too. Full transparency, right?
mm-hmm.
And when I look at it, so we have progress pictures on our jobs every day, throughout the day.
Same here.
Hundreds of photos. So I can look at from the time they got there at 7:30, from the time they left there at
We
4:30.
use Company Cam.
That's what I use.
Yep.
Okay, great, right?
Not sponsored, but hey,
Yeah.
if you want to, by all means, because Company Cam
It's getting
is
expensive.
the best.
It's getting expensive. I didn't even realize what I was paying them.
Dude. But because you got to pay per
user.
So yes.
I'm like, why did they just take $3,200 from my bank account?
That's what I'm saying. Like,
I thought this was like $30 a month.
no.
$3,200. Dude,
Yeah.
I called them up so fast. I'm like, why did you guys charge me? Well,
Bro,
it's per user. It's like
it's no
$400 or whatever per user per year. And I'm like, I have 3 guys on this app that don't even take photos.
I make it a requirement, and if you don't take photos, you actually get written up. I make it a requirement for my employees because not only is it good to have as many photos as you can of every job site, but it's also good to make sure that each employee is doing what they're supposed to be doing. I want befores, during, and afters.
Yep.
If you're not getting me those, how do I know you're not just in some closet watching YouTube? Like, no, I want to know that you're being productive, and I need those photos because there's a lot of clients out there that require photos in order for me to get paid.
Yeah.
So they need to show and see that we actually did what we said we're doing when we're putting in an invoice.
It's great.
You know, so,
You know?
but no, Company Cam really is amazing. It is very expensive. It is not cheap, but to me, it's 110% worth it.
I got lucky. They said, well, you know, you have a few guys on there. They literally see that have no activity.
Right.
So we're going to credit you back. So they literally credited me back like $1,800,
Nice.
which was nice.
Yeah.
You know, so pretty much it's all the crew leaders that use that app, you know, the technicians, the lower guys, you know, in our structure, they don't use it or whatever. We use a different app if we need to communicate with them. But really, ultimately, the foremen are in control. They're in charge of that project, that job, whatever it is. But so, and then every job we do, they get all those photos from start to finish, and they also gives them a link to post a Google review. So we're doing anywhere from 2 to 6 Google reviews a week, 5-star reviews. So it should generate maybe close to 100 more 5-star reviews, which, you know, even myself before that, I would never. I mean, yeah, give us a review, and then what would they do? They'd forget. It's not that they didn't want to give you a review; they just didn't. Right. So when I close out a job, we close out a job today. I text the homeowner. I call them. I give them all their company cam photos, request a review. I do a final walkthrough with them, send them their final invoice, which is paid the day we're completed. All right. Close out the job, right? Make sure everything's good. And if they don't give me a review that day, that night, call them tomorrow. Hey, just want to remind you about the review. I talked to them like 8 hours ago. Hey, I just want to remind you about the review. Oh, yeah, I'm gonna do it today. Okay, great. If they don't do it today, I call them later that night.
I send out reminders.
We have a card that when we finish a job, you just QR code
Yep,
it,
and brings it right
right
to it.
to it. So while we're closing the job and finishing a job, and on Company Cam, we actually make the homeowner a
report.
no, on Company Cam, we actually make them like part of the project, and it's free.
Oh, collaborator.
Yep. So
Yeah, yeah.
that way they can see the
They can get
progress,
daily
because a lot
progress,
of our
yeah.
clients aren't in the home.
Right.
You know, we're doing
Right.
renos and
Yep.
things, so they own the house. They're living somewhere else. So
That's a good
I
idea.
try to make them a collaborator so that they can chime in and be like, "Oh, I see you did the kitchen today. I saw you got that floor done."
Yeah.
You know, but when we close, and they can download, they can do everything on Company Cam
Yep.
that we could do. So I love doing that as a collaborator for sure. But as soon as we close a job, my foreman and myself and several of my other guys have a card that links right to our Facebook, our Google, our everything. And here, you want to give a review? It'll take you 2 seconds. Just scan this right here. And now we do it well. It's face to face, which, yes, is a little bit of an intimidating factor, because it's like, what you gonna give me? You know, what kind of review? But it's also, they're already going to give us that 5-star. We've done above and beyond for them. They were extremely happy, you know. And I tell people, here, just scan this, and I'll start loading up the truck. I'm not going to stand over your shoulder while you do this. So please be honest. I don't
Yeah.
ever try to buy or know, push people to a 5-star review, but I do always want, I want honest feedback. Because if we made a mistake or we didn't make you feel comfortable, if something happened, I want to know about it so that I can fix it immediately, because it's my business, it's my baby, and I want to make sure that you are 100% satisfied with everything we've brought to the table, you know? So I'm not real pushy. Now, if some people are just like, oh, I don't know how to do that, I don't want to do that right now, no problem. You know, I'm not going to sit here and be a salesman over reviews, but I try to do it right there as soon as the sale's over. You write me a check, you hand me the cash, you run your card, whatever the case may be, the job is done, you're satisfied. Let's go ahead and just get that review right out of the way right now. You know?
I love being able to show the reviews every week to my guys, right? Because I tell them what they do good all the time, and I'll tell them what they need to work on or what they need to fix,
Right.
you know, all the time. My job as the CEO is your daily reminder. I'm here to remind you of what you need to be doing. Okay?
Right.
Not necessarily criticize you, but I'm always reminding you. So I love the fact that I can give them another source of praise from the client, and
100%.
not just from me. And
It makes them feel really good,
it does.
too. You
It
know,
gives them purpose.
For sure.
Right? Because let's be honest, this is hard work. You know? This is, you know, Andy Frisella would say, pick your hard. No matter what you're going to do, it's going to be hard. Pick your hard. What it is. This is hard freaking work, what we're doing.
Oh, dude, what you're doing is insanely hard work. People don't understand how hard
You know?
masonry work and being outside in the elements and trying to get a job done. Like, every part of what you do
Yeah.
sucks.
Yeah.
To be honest.
But
I've done it for
there's
summers.
harder.
I've worked it. No, they're all
Roofers?
Yeah.
I know.
Don't get me wrong.
Pavers?
There's
I
100%
commend
worse.
them all. I tell them every time I get their vehicles, I commend you guys.
But I'm
I'ma
just
stay
saying,
inside
what
the
you're
shop.
doing is not.
Yeah.
We're inside homes. You know what I mean? We
Yeah.
can put the heat.
You're
on,
doing
the
AC.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Like it's a little bit fucking different. So I will always respect people that do what you do because it
know?
is fucking hard
Yeah, I
ass work.
commend all you guys.
You know what I mean? But we are getting close to about the time frame in which we'd like to do our podcast. I'd love to have you on again because I feel as though we could do a whole second episode and really continue this conversation.
Yeah.
If you're willing, no.
Well,
no
we kind of
pressure
free
there.
float it. Maybe we can, if we get any interactions from anybody online on this podcast, maybe people have particular questions or they, want us to talk about something. Like, there's a lot I think that we could talk about.
100%.
And I'm with you. I just want to grow, grow the whole industry for people. Maybe not just my particular industry that I'm in, but if you can network and you can help people out, imagine if we would have had that, through the, I've been in business almost 20 years. If I would have had that, maybe I would have found God sooner, or maybe I would have, whatever it was. But if we can help people out, other contractors, it's going to help us all out in the long run, right? It's going to weed out the tire kickers. It's going to hold, which, let me back this up real quick. Did you hear about this? Sorry, this just came to my mind. This website now where we can review homeowners.
What?
You haven't seen this?
No, what's it called? Oh, I'm gonna hop on it so fucking fast. You
Dude,
don't even know,
it's
bro.
a legit thing. It's huge. It's blowing up all over the U.S. It's called.
That'll help
It's
contractors
called.
out.
It's called. Homeowner recon or contractor recon. Homeowner review. It's called Job Site Recon. It's a real thing. So you go.
One of y'all back there, write that down for
Job
me
site
because
recon.
I need that.
You get a client, right?
All my clients have been great. I've had a few Karens, but most of my clients are great. You know what I mean? They would get great 5-star reviews, but again, we've all had those Karens. We've all had those people that wanted to negotiate the price after the fact that they've already signed the contract. Like, oh, well, this should be really the price. And it's like, no, you already signed the contract. This is the price. Or we've had the people that you could do above and beyond 1,000% effort.
You could give
and
them your
perfect
child.
job, and it's still not fucking good enough,
Yeah.
dude.
So
Yeah.
you
Yep.
type
Yep.
in the address of the homeowner, and then it shows if any contractors have been there.
Austin, you
So-
could use it for weddings,
Okay,
bro.
so this is the deal.
Bridezillas?
This
I
is
can
what
see
I'm
that
doing.
Going heavy on
For
you, bro.
every Google review I get, I go on a job site recon, and I'm a contractor on there, and I type in that homeowner's name and address, and I say, great client to work for, paid me on time,
It's kind of like Airbnb where they can
answered
rate
my
you.
calls.
You know what I mean?
Okay,
Yeah.
didn't have any change orders. Right, I give them a raving review. So if the next contractor comes in for another project, maybe it's you for HVAC, you're gonna go on there, you're gonna look up this client address, and you're gonna see, oh, Mike Johnson did work for. Oh, Sean Perry did work for. Paid on time, didn't have any problems, any issues, was a great client, referred me to 4 other people already before I even finished their job.
Right.
Right? Where has this been?
Now, let me ask you, when it comes to change work orders, are you really upset about that? Because when people want to add extra work to my job,
So-
I'm not mad, but it does push my timeline and changes. It's a giant wrench
It is.
thrown in my schedule. So I can't say I'm mad at it because you want to throw more money.
Yeah.
You're happy with the work. I love it. But it's also like, in my head, this job was going to be 2 weeks, and now it's going to turn into 3, which is going to throw all my shit off. So how do you feel about work change orders?
It depends on the change order, because most of my jobs don't get change orders because it's pre-designed, right? That
Right.
we're doing all that to avoid that risk.
So you don't run into it that often?
We do once in a while, but it's from an unforeseen circumstance that
Mm-hmm.
I'm not just going to do because I'm there and I'm a nice guy and I serve the Lord, whatever it is. Their time is money, right? Material is money. So sometimes it happens. But like you said, it pushes back that crew one more week or one more day, whatever it is. We make it work. It'll get better as we hire more employees and we have more crews, right? As we amplify things. So, but there's a certain process for it. But for the most part, my system is that we're not going to have a change order because everything is thought of before you sign that contract.
Right.
Everything is priced out before,
Right.
but it does happen.
All right. All right. Well, let's go ahead and just wrap this up real quick. Actually, not real quick. Let's just go ahead and wrap this up. This episode, our special guest, Mike Johnson with Pro Snow Removal. And what was the title of your storage unit?
Armadillo Storage.
There you go. Is there anything else you would like to tell people, touch on? Anything else you'd like to just talk about before we go ahead and just end this out?
I just appreciate this opportunity to be able to
Dude,
talk to
we
you guys.
appreciate you being here, man.
We
We really do.
I'm gonna give a shout out to my boy Sean over here with I
He's been
Spy.
silent this whole fucking time.
I'm
Dude,
taking it all in.
I'm sorry, dude. I didn't
No,
mean to
you're
take this whole
good.
thing over,
You're
bro.
good.
I found him many years ago. I think I saw he was blowing up on Facebook, social media. Gave him a shot. I think he was charging about half of what he's charging now when I first got with him. And dude, I've had so many detailers touch my trucks, my cars over the years, and nobody, it's not even close, details a vehicle like I Spy.
Dude, I'll second
appreciate
that.
that.
There's nobody fucking better out there. I've paid thousands for detailing.
I can't even do it the way he does it, and
I
I'm
agree.
anal.
Now, let me ask you this. Have you watched any of the other previous podcasts or anything like that?
Clips.
Cool. That's fine. This man right here, Austin, he's the one that does all the editing for Grindustry, and he's probably the best in the industry at what he does too. Here at Grindustry, we try to bring the best of the best to people's attention. So we've got Amara Media, we've got I Spy Mobile Detailing, we've got Fixer Up Home Repair, and now we've got Pro Snow Removal. That we just want to bring awareness to people about what it's like to truly be the best at what you do. Follow your dreams, be a business owner, or don't. If you're fine working your way up through the ladder, there's nothing wrong with that. But we want to just try to inspire and really give people that hustle and grind to just be the best that they can be, not to fucking steal that from the Army, but we really want to, just try to show people that if you dream it and you work hard enough at it, you will become fucking successful. You will achieve your dreams. And everybody said it throughout history. If you focus on one thing hard enough, you'll get it. But, it's so easy because it's been said so many times. It's so easy to just write that off. And no, it's facts. Okay. If you really want something, you will get it. And let's just go with you and just say, sometimes it takes faith. It takes a village. You'll never fucking conquer this world by yourself. It takes people, it takes something else to become great in this world. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, and you're never going to be perfect.
No, there's no such thing as perfection. Everybody makes mistakes, and everybody, especially when it becomes business. You know how many fucking, I'll get you so many leads and I'll get you all these jobs that I've bought into that never paid out. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to get you #1 on Google and all this crap. Everybody makes mistakes when it comes to business. You just have to factor that in and try to not get scammed. That would be my advice when it comes to that. Any final words you'd like to put out? Actually, you know what? Let's do this as a final thing. What is the best advice you've ever gotten from a mentor, other business owner, anything? And if you could give your best advice to the public, what would that be? So there's just 2 questions for you. We'll wrap this up.
The best advice I've ever gotten is probably that's you want to give the right answer, but honestly, it just comes down to like the advice that I would give someone, and that's just
They can be the same answer. It's okay.
Yeah. You have to be grateful and thankful and understand that the season you're in now is preparing you for something much greater. So you have
like
to
that.
embrace You have to embrace the struggle. You have to embrace the battle. You cannot let it deter you or slow you down, because what it's building you and preparing you for is so much better.
I really like that. That was
True.
awesome.
Very true.
All right, Sean, you want to give us that outro and close it out for us?
Thank you guys once again for tuning into Grindustry, where we had the pleasure of having Mike Johnson on. We talked a lot about financial tips and what changing your faith can do to you.
Grind is straight, grind is straight.